Welcome back to my world out there, so good to see you again, and if you're just joining, hi, I'm Warren, episode content like this one, so if you're interested, it says you happy, I should be every Saturday. So today we're going to rank all the Tarzan films. Now I know when you're listening, you might be thinking, Wyatt, there's only 3 Tarzan films. There's the original Tarzan, there's Tarzan 2, and then there's Tarzan and Jane. But there is more than that. There is those 3 films, like I mentioned. There's the Tarzan 2013 film, and then there's The Legend of Tarzan. So we're gonna rank all those today. So, before we get into it, there's 2 disclaimers. One, if this is just my opinions, if you disagree with any way I put on ranking any of these films, that is okay. Share your rankings down in the comments. I would love to hear what you guys think. And number 2, I will not be including the Tarzan and Jane film. I have not seen that in so long, I barely remember anything that went on with it. I just remember that we go through a bunch of flashback stuff. That's all I remember in that film. And plus, it's one of those Disney films that are most notably missable in these. So we're only gonna rank 4 films today. So without further ado, let's get into the ranking. In last place, Tarzan 2. This film is not really a good standalone film in a whole. The plot the plot is interesting. Like, I like how we went back to I like how the plot's focused around, like, Tarzan trying to find his place among the apes, trying to get fit in with the rest of his family, and then has to eventually run away to find out who he really is, knowing that he's not an ape. He needs to figure out who he is as in the jungle, and he meets this older ape called Zugor that helps him find out who he is. And like, I like the interest of the plot. I just don't feel like the plot should have been made into an hour-long movie. Because I think the original animated film summed up this whole movie in like a 3-minute song. Because that's basically what happened. I don't feel like this plot should be made in the movie. The characters were dull. Like, Turk was barely in the film, and the most screen time he ever had was him just chasing those 2 apes around while Tantor stuck in a tree. Kala barely gets any screen time, which is actually surprising since she should be the main focus of this plot, considering Tarzan wants to be a good ape for her. He wants to be the best ape ever for her, so Kala barely gets enough screen time as it is. The most screen time she ever gets is when Tarzan supposedly dies. And Kerchak, I just want to say, like, if Kerchak was more in this film, like, if he was the reason Tarzan ran away in the first place, that would have been more interesting, because Kerchak's, like, kind of, since, like, from the very beginning, even in the original film, Kerchak's been, like, the one that's been, like, that shut Tarzan down just for being a human, not being one of them. So I feel like if he was the reason Tarzan ran away in this film, it might have made me more engaged in it. As well as Kerchak barely gets screen time. I don't think you see him after, like, the 30-minute mark ever again. So, yeah, the mom and the 2 brothers that got reformed, no, the way they got reformed was stupid. The only reason they got reformed is because the mom fell in love with Zugor. That's the only reason we got reformed. And that's just boring and stupid. Like, the only reason I'd ever go back to watch this film is purely because Phil Collins came back for the soundtrack. I love that soundtrack too. I love the Tarzan soundtrack by Phil Collins. That's the only reason I will probably ever turn to Tarzan 2, just purely for the soundtrack, and even then I probably will. Like I said in my Planet of the Apes video with Beneath Planet of the Apes, if I ever come back to Tarzan 2, I'll be shocked. But yeah, that's why Tarzan 2's in last place for me. In third place, Tarzan 2013. Now, before we get into this film, I just want to let you know before you get if you ever want to watch Tarzan 2013 on your own, it is available on YouTube and Tubi. On YouTube, just search in Tarzan 2013. You should get a full movie as well. It's on Tubi right now, so you can watch it. So let's just get back into the race. So I watched the trailer on YouTube for this film before watching the film, and because I was curious, because I was wondering, they made another animated Tarzan film in 2013? Okay, let's check this out. So I watched it, I checked the comics section just to see what people thought of it, and I did not see one single good comment on that trailer. Every comment just said how cringe it looked, how bad it looked, how the plot was stupid. So I was a little worried going with this film, because I always like to check reviews before I watch, like, other people, the audience's reviews before watching the actual film. So I was a little worried going into this, but when I got in, there are a few things that keep this out of last place. Like, it's not a bad film as people think it is, but it's not a great movie. Like, I definitely see the criticisms, but it's not a bad movie. So I'm just gonna go over the negatives before I go over the positives, because there's quite a few negatives, hence why it's second to last place. So, the plot, it's kind of silly. Tarzan versus an alien meteor rock? No. No. The whole point of Tarzan is he's supposed to be the king of the whole point of Tarzan is he's supposed to be the man, the ape without fur, the king of the jungle. He's supposed to be that. He's not supposed to be on a gigantic space rock looking for a mysterious meteor that his father just left alone in the first place. Tarzan would never have existed. And so, yeah, like, the plot's kind of stupid. Thankfully, most of the film is set in the jungle. It doesn't really go into the meteor rock plot until, like, the very last 30 minutes, which is nice of them. Like, we focus more on the jungle part of Tarzan, which is what I'd expect from a Tarzan film, is to be focused on him in the jungle. And so, I don't there's not many bad things, but I definitely see the criticisms. I mostly saw the criticisms with the plot. I also don't like how Tarzan says he was raised by apes in this film, but he really wasn't. He was 12 when he lost his parents. And yeah, sure, he mostly got raised by apes, but he still knew his parents. The whole like sadness of the original Tarzan film is that he never knew his real parents because they died when he was just a baby. But in this film, he knows his parents, like he has a violent flashback with them. So I like the original Tarzan film's parents better because it states the statement "I got raised by apes" is neutral because he literally got raised by apes. Like, he doesn't know his human family, but in this film, he doesn't even lose his parents until he's like 12. And I kind of also want to believe that Tarzan's parents died to the wilderness of the jungle, not some stupid little plane crash that blew up. That's kind of silly, as well as I don't even know how Tarzan survived that crash. And I also don't like how the gorilla that was evil in that pack, he wasn't a main issue. Like, the most issue he ever was when Tarzan was fighting him. And so but now let's go into what. I do like the animation. The animation is amazing, especially for 2013, but I like how they did Jane's father. He's not like a scared guy that seems to know nothing about the jungle. He's actually more experienced than his daughter. I also like how they went into more detail with Tarzan and Jane's relationship. Even in the original film, we couldn't even go deeper into their relationship because they were always around Clayton, or Jane's father. So yeah, that was nice. And also, I didn't also like how Clayton wasn't as menacing. I think the film would have done better, and I would have enjoyed it more if Clayton was as menacing as he was in the original cartoon. And can we also talk about how suspiciously alike Clayton looks like Tarzan's father in this film? Like, if you put a picture side by side of Tarzan's father and Clayton, their hairline looks extremely similar, and it's kind of scary. But yeah, I definitely see the criticisms of Tarzan 2013, but it's not a bad film by any means. But it's still not a great film, hence why it's in second to last place. In second place, The Legend of Tarzan. I love this film. It's a great, even though it's not a live action adaptation of the original Tarzan film, it's still a great live action Tarzan film. Though I like the idea concept of now Tarzan has to return to the jungle because he has been living in London for over a decade with Jane, and along the way Jane gets kidnapped, and Tarzan has to resume the persona of Tarzan, and Tarzan has to get back into the old jungle and to save the woman he loves. I think that's amazing. I think that's an amazing story. The only issue I have with it is that it is too rushed. I felt like if we focused a little bit more on certain elements, I would have enjoyed it just a little bit more, and it might have made first place. But I'm going to reveal why this didn't make first place in a few seconds. But this film's still great. I love the flashback stuff. The whole plot point with the guy in the guy with the guy that wanted to kill Tarzan for killing his son because his son killed Kala. That's a great story plot. And so I do like this film. Like I said, the only reason it's in second place is because it's too rushed in some parts. As well, if you want to watch this film, it's on Netflix, but hurry because it is going to go away soon. It is leaving soon in May. So if you want to watch it, go watch it now. So yeah, and now let's get on to first place. In first place, the original 1999 Tarzan. The animation, the color, the voice acting, everything, the story, everything is perfect in this film. The only reason it's in first place is because Phil Collins' amazing soundtrack. I sometimes am just sitting down and I get Son of Man stuck in my head. And so I listen to the whole soundtrack. Like, that's the only reason Tarzan, The Legend of Tarzan was kept out of first place for me, because he is literally... Because Phil Collins... It's because Phil Collins had the soundtrack. And I love that soundtrack. The only soundtrack that could ever beat Phil Collins' Tarzan soundtrack is Elton John's Lion King soundtrack. Phil Collins' soundtrack is the only reason this film is in first place. If Phil Collins didn't have soundtrack in this film, it probably would have gotten dethroned to second place, and Legend of Tarzan would have been first place. But that's my opinion. So yeah. And that's all for Tarzan films. Share your rankings down in the comments below. I would love to see what you guys think. And Wyatt signing out. But remember, peace and kindness, the things we need most. Stay wild.